You know, the last thing that a racer wants is for their suspension to slow them down while out on the track, and for us trail riders, the feeling's quite mutual. The saying that you can only go as fast as your suspension will let you is as relevant today as ever. As you know, we're all about no compromise, as are the folks at Fox Shox. So they sent us the right gear to make our Arctic Cat SnowPro 500 as adaptable on the trails as the racer sleds are on the track. FloatX Evals up front and 0X skid shocks in the back. Now today we're going to test these out on our SnowPro 500 and show you the real benefits of upgrading your suspension with Fox Shox. Up front we have the same shocks Tucker runs on his SnowPros, Fox FloatX Evals that feature a dual stage air spring, high and low speed compression, and rebound adjustability. But what's all that mean? Well, for one, the elimination of steel springs typically equates to 4 to 5 pounds weight savings total. The ability to adjust spring preload with air pressure gives you infinite adjustability and keeps your knuckles from getting bloody from spanner wrenches that don't fit. Now the addition of the Eval chamber creates sort of a dual rate air spring. Now this is beneficial because you can adjust air pressure outside of the main chamber independently with the Eval chamber. This helps you to settle down harsh impacts and really resist bottoming out. This allows us to run lower, softer pressure numbers in the main air chamber of the shock while still keeping a resistance to bottoming out by pumping up the Eval chamber. Typically we run soft shocks for a plush ride, but then pay for it in hard bumps or G-out conditions. The Eval chamber solves this problem altogether. When it comes to damping control, the high and low speed compression at the top reservoir of the shock means that you can regulate the damping control for varying terrain conditions. You can first dial in the low speed compression to manage small bump compliance such as chatter bumps, and then independently adjust high speed compression dampening to best absorb the energy of high impact situations, such as large moguls or G-out situations from hard edge bumps or holes in the trail. The ability to adjust your sled's high and low speed compression adjustability independently gives you the advantage of setting up your sled for optimal comfort and control calibration. The addition of rebound adjustability goes one step further in calibrating your suspension to your riding style and terrain. The ability to adjust the rate in which your suspension will rise or rebound will stabilize your sled by making sure your suspension is returning back to its full use of travel in the most controlled manner. The Eval X is the absolute best front suspension I have ever ridden. The low-speed trail compliance is like no other shock I've used, while at the same time still being able to pound the ditches and launch the sled to huge heights without worrying about bottoming or going past the shock's capabilities. Now in the rear of this sled, we're going to install two Fox Zero piggyback shocks that take us from the stalkers with only preload adjustability to full, high, and low speed compression adjustability. These 0X skid shocks feature remote reservoirs that not only look cool, but house the high and low speed compression adjusters. Aside from housing the oil flow ports for compression dampening, the reservoir also accommodates for the internal floating piston, or IFP. Moving the internal floating piston from the main shock body to the reservoir increases the useful stroke of the shock by about 3/4 of an inch. And the extra oil capacity minimizes fade, keeping the feel of the shocks predictable and stable. Like the front ski shocks, the high and low speed compression on both front arm and rear arm shocks lets us tailor the ride perfectly. I can pass the same section of trail fast or slow and experience the ultimate in comfort, but more importantly, control. Now the fact that both rear shocks feature piggybacks means that the extra 3/4 of an inch is giving us a longer and better damped stroke of our shock. This means that in all our conditions, the shock performs better and features more usable travel. For the hard riding I'm doing, there is never too much available damping, and I was really able to feel higher quality shocks kick in and carry me through the harshest of hits with more speed and control as compared to the stalkers. So what's the real lesson we've learned with this shock upgrade? For one, we've come to fully realize the potential of our Arctic Cat SnowPro 500. The other is that we've come to realize that equipping your snowmobile with quality suspension products not only makes you more confident on your sled, but equips you for anything that the trail can throw at you.